He'll answer whatever.
Mic check.
Mic check, okay. Workshop to order for Monday, October 28th at 5 p.m. Thank you so much. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Almazan,
Here.
Collins,
Here.
Marine, Reese,
Here.
Wilson.
Yeah. Okay, can we get approval of the agenda for the workshop, please?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Amazon, second by Commissioner Collins. All right, call the roll.
Almazan,
Aye.
Collins,
Aye.
Reese,
Yeah. Aye.
Wilson.
Aye. Madam Clerk, please read into the record the item of discussion for the workshop, please.
Yes, sir. Today we'll be discussing the city's Belle Glade's legislative priorities.
Okay, Commissioners, just to recap, we all had a good time last week with our county representative, Commissioner Baxter. And we'd like to give our city manager and staff a big hand. They had some information for us to share with our county commissioner about upcoming priorities. As always, the city manager want to make sure that now we come back to the table and then we start talking about things that you would like to have, perhaps take away or add. So I'm going to ask Commissioner Collins to read into the record those items that we had presented to the county commission on last week, and then we'll take it from there. We'll go to each commissioner after opening comments by the city manager. So read into the record so that the audience and then staff be aware of the things that we presented last week. Madam Commissioner.
Okay. Belle Glade City Hall parking lot stormwater improvement funding request $875,000. Second, Airport Park Wellness Initiative funding request $200,000. Belle Glade Weight Room renovation initiative funding request $150,000. Scope for rural areas of opportunity and roadway resurfacing project funding request $1,500,000.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. All right, so it's always been our goal in the last 20 years to continue to find ways and means to get funding for infrastructure. And I would like to thank, again, our city manager for taking the lead on that. So, Mr. Manager, any opening comments? Then I'm going to yield to my colleagues so they can give us their wish list, things they want, things they don't want. Any opening comments?
Yes, I do. Mayor, as you know, several years ago, we went year after year after year to Tallahassee lobbying for whatever the items was, and we would go up there sometimes with 8, 10 items that we were seeking funding for. And always, we either received nothing or they would pick the one that cost the least. If we had some for $1 million, $1.5 million, $3 million, whatever, if we had a couple of requests for $25,000, we would get the $25,000. Then if we came in and was complaining or expressed our concerns that we didn't receive anything else, they'd say, well, we did give you something. So you, the commission, at that time, the commissioners that were on here decided that we would narrow it down and we would just pick 2 or 3 of what we really wanted for the city and concentrate on that. And by doing that, having that strategy, it proved to be much more effective. And that's the way that we've done it the past several years. I know that we have new commissioners on board, and so I just wanted to make that statement. Now, if the commission would care to go back, do it a different way, you know, staff's going to follow your direction, of course.
The advantage we have with the commissioners on the dais now, we have a former city manager, Dr. Reese, and then we have a team director at the Project Lift, Commissioner Collins, and then you also have a veteran, Vice Mayor Amazon. So I think the scope of how we do things, our strategy, I think everybody can see between that. So let me start with the Vice Mayor, then I'll work my way around on things that we would like to add on to this already list and things that we want to take away. Vice Mayor, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Manager and all staff for compromising these projects we have in front of us. I would like to see, I don't have any, I'm not against any of these right here. Let me just start off by that. We know we have needs across the across the city, but one of my concern is the Mary Evers Center where we house our senior program there. So I would like to see if we could do something for that, either, you know, looking at, you know, work around where we can include some funding for that. You know, because I walked in that building and it's, you know, I would like to have something nice for our seniors, something, you know, because they're part of our community, and I think if we have something presentable, more stuff, you know, so I would like to see something there. That would be my only add-on. Other than that, everything else I kind of agree here. So that would be my add-on. If you want to work with that, you know, maybe we remove one. I think your idea of having just three, concentrating 3 or 4, I think that's the way we should work together, you know. And so moving forward, that's it, Mr. Mayor.
And Mr. Manager, I think that should be an easy fix because we already have the design already in place, right? Because we've been dealing with that for a couple of years.
Well, we've already, Mr. Mayor, we've already had the design for that building. That's part of the funding, you know, that we would receive over that 10-year period, and that it's tied into also those pool requests, but that's a separate part of that. So we have the design for rehabbing that building already
Okay.
done. But I'll see where we're at on that, the funding already. I think that we already have the funding for that, and if not, we'll add it, and plus, we have an estimated cost for what needs to be done already.
Okay. We'll listen to the other commissioners and then we'll wrap it up, summarizing. If the fund is already there, woo, that's an easy fix, but
Okay.
we can deal with that. All right, Commissioner Collins, you've been recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think that all of these initiatives are very important. I see that you have already narrowed them down to some great initiatives with our stormwater, our wellness, and all of the above. I think that we're moving in the right direction with these initiatives that are already in place. What I would like to see, you know, if possible, and I know that this is just something that we all just have to work on, not just now, but moving forward, with having a little funding and some more resources for our homeless population.
Okay, okay, okay. So be a little more specific in terms now, because we know the facilities is really accommodated by the county.
Right.
If we got resources, if the powers should access, what would we use it for if the county is kind of like spearheading the facility? What would we use our funding for homelessness? I mean, what's
Maybe
your thinking?
temporary sheltering.
Okay.
What, Commissioner?
Temporary shelter.
For homelessness, okay, all right, and then again, that would be something we have to navigate with the county and again, seeing if we can get something, you're right, because there's a lot of concerns about that, because they only have so many beds out here. So, okay, so we'll hashtag that and then come back and see how we can, I think that could be a county or state initiative as opposed to a city of Belle Glade.
Okay.
Research. Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Reese, you've been recognized for comments.
Yes, where do we stand with the funding for the pool? I know that was we had a big ask when we went up to Tallahassee the first time, and of course, we pushed for the pool in order to provide swimming lessons for our infant. I know we accomplished some of that now by working with the county, but as far as the pool for itself, for Belle Glade versus the county, where do we stand with that?
No support at all.
No support at all?
No, sir.
Not even from a state perspective,
We
Commissioner Reese,
we have no support on a state or federal.
national. Yeah, just for some reason, a pool is like asking for a new city hall. For some reason, they kind of like, and the first thing they tell us, you're just gonna waste your time. There's not gonna be any leverage from any of the powers to be to make it happen. And so I was sharing with the manager, we gotta think outside the box, because when you were manager, that's been a hot ticket for us. And again, I think we, sharing that again with Lomax, is that we gotta think outside the box how we can make that happen, because that is something that we've been committed to, and it's not happening. So, Mr. Manager, maybe before the end of the year, that gray hair you have, use your thinking box, how we can figure this out, because it's not gonna go away. It's gonna continue to come up, ways and means to get that pool. And again, that was phase two from phase one of what the Vice Mayor was saying about the resource center. But you have no control what the powers be in the state level or the national level. You have no control over that. But we gotta figure it out, because if we know we're not gonna get the funding from there, are we gonna find a grant out there, or are we gonna look at some other ways of means? We just gotta make that happen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Commissioner Reese.
And so I do notice that we have a request for funding for Airport Park. Are we still looking for grants for that as well, or is this
Always.
always? And so the money we have here for the Airport Park, what is that? Is that some matching funds we're trying to get for?
So far, no. We have, it has not been matching funds.
Okay, so
Excuse me.
Yes, sir. Vice Mayor.
At the policy meeting for natural resources, they kept mentioning the Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program, that they have usually like matching grants. So they were telling the cities, like for parks and stuff, because they were talking about the Jonathan Dixon State Park, the big issue that arose when the governor they were trying to build the hotels and the golf course out here in North Palm Beach, South Martin County. So they're gonna make a recommendation to keep the state parks as natural as possible for the habitat and everybody. But they also mentioned, like for cities, that they could go off and try to get funding for in that department, that there's money there. And it has increased through the years in the last 4 or 5 years.
I want to circle back, Commissioner Collins, you mentioned homeless. So if the county is going to be doing the facility part, perhaps if we can find maybe grant opportunities, so when these folks are homeless, maybe we can have like a pantry in support of the pantries we have, so when people are in need, with food item and clothing and things of that nature, because I know you deal with it all the time. You think that might be a great start for us? Because again, the facility is really controlled by the county. And then there's some other opportunity, maybe we can look at some other properties around here that we can look at. I know that hotel came up a couple of times in case we want to utilize that through the county, but maybe some resources when people are homeless and they're in there, we can help with food items and clothing of that nature there. I think maybe staff can find grants on that instead of putting it as a project, we can do it that way. okay, if that's okay with you.
Yes, that's,
Okay.
I'm sorry, to clear that up, that's what I was saying. That's why I was saying I'm in agreement with what's the initiatives that's already in the packet.
Okay, okay.
But, you know,
Okay.
at a later date or time, we can work on something that, to that extent.
Okay.
And that's a great start. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, no problem.
ahead.
So we can't vote in the workshop? Go ahead.
Yes. For Vice Mayor, we have $283,470 for the improvement, and we do have the money, and that's for the Mario Evans, the building.
283.
For those improvements, 283,000.
What's the design cost? Does it exceed what we have, or do we need to find more? I'm
Well,
asking.
the estimated cost for everything that we wanted down there is $2 million. Okay.
So,
We have the money for the building.
for the building.
Yes, sir.
If I recall, the building itself is 2-something million. You know, knocking the way the guy, and the pool was like 1.9,
Right.
being separate. So the whole building itself, the way they presented it to us was like almost 2 million. I think
For
it
the
was
part
actually
that we
over
were
2,
gonna put for
2.1.
For the Mario Evans building.
The whole complex there, the whole building, the two,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So that means we're still short then.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
what we wanted for everything, we're way short.
Okay, so can you maybe figure out what that short, and then maybe we're still, if the commissioners desire to put that as a request in our legislative request, so we can make the difference up. I mean, $280,000 like peanuts to get it started. So that would be if we all, by consensus, because we can't vote, agree that the mayor,
Okay, so what's the request, Mayor?
whatever the difference is that we need, we're gonna put that as a request to our legislature, if that's the consensus of this body. And to also, we can't put the pool, because the pool just not gonna happen. We're giving you some direction to seek ways and means to find funding, a funding mechanism for the pool. So that would be phase two. Phase one would get the building in perspective. Now, with the prayer and hope that it goes through all the channels. And then Airport Park, I understand you say you're getting the grants and all. So the only thing I see add on to this list, Commissioner, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, is to put on there the Mary O. Evans Resource Centers to make up the difference of what we need from what we've already received from our engineer designers. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, okay. All right, Mr. Manager, any staff, anybody else have any recommendation, thoughts, suggestions? Anybody else?
No, sir.
All right, so I close out with the commissioner. Commissioner Reese, any additional recommendation here that we need to consider?
Well, I guess if we could just look again at our priorities on the roads resurfacing.
Yes, sir.
There are some streets that I'm looking for here, I don't see, that definitely needs to be considered.
Okay.
And if we can look at those streets and put them on the priority list. I know right now,
Just get with me in
Okay.
whatever streets, if we don't have them covered, I'll add them.
yeah, because there's one I travel on just about every day, and there's almost like a big gully I have to go across in order to get to Main Street. And I don't see it on this list. And
Just whatever there is, you tell me and I'll add to the list.
okay, I'll get with you then.
All right,
Okay, so additional roads and by all means, that invitation for all the commissioners, if you find roads that not on this list, now's the time to go ahead and you look at them and let the city manager know so he can go ahead and do his adjustments, okay?
Well, I know usually Keith gives us a priority list, what he, sees, more. One of my concerns, not necessarily with the list, is sometimes we pave our roads, overlay them or whatever, and then we need to work closely with the Palm Beach County water utilities. They come and, put lines. And I know the lines need to be replaced. I'm not against it, but they should be communicating this stuff in forecast, because sometimes we got our list of here roads that we want to do, and 4 months after the street's overlaid or paved, here comes the county.
We always notify them first where we're going, and if we need to change or whatever, we always work with the county. And you're absolutely right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just better communication, because I like, it's just these roads are real, it costs a lot of money, and if we could preserve them or, keep them,
Yeah.
extend their life for a year or two, it saves us money a little bit down the road.
Mr. Manager, just to add to that, and again, last week wasn't the time to bring that up, but these subcontractors that they're utilizing, as the Vice Mayor indicated earlier, when we don't know if they completed their project or they just leaving it there like that. Right now on A Street, we don't know if they finished or not. So maybe we can,
We have this, it's a running gun battle with them.
yes. Can you get, maybe you get Mr. Ali out here and we can have a conversation with him, because he need to see it firsthand, what we're talking about, because we're doing our part. But I can tell you there's some roads now that I know they've done their project, but you wait maybe a week, so maybe they're gonna come back. We get the complaints, 2-3 weeks go by, and it's still like that. And I know it's not done like that on the East Coast. So we gotta make sure they pay attention. I wanted to bring it up last week, but the time just wasn't, appropriate at that time. But we need to get Mr. Ali to come out here, and we can take him on a tour, you and your staff and your deputy manager, so y'all can show them what we're talking about. So that's a good point you're bringing up. Okay. Anything else, Commissioner Reese, for the good of the order?
Again, I think, like you said, we need to prioritize what's most important to us, because we know that when we get to Tallahassee, if we don't prioritize them, they will do it for us. And my preference is that we do it first. And hopefully, when we do get it through the legislature, when it get to the governor's desk, he won't veto it like he did towards the previous years. We worked very hard to get the funding, and then he goes and veto funding for small cities.
Who's your grant writer here? I know Ms. Annette manages the grant. Who you have on staff, Mr. Manager, that write grants for us?
Annette,
Okay, so we're giving you a charge to give her a direction to find monies for homeless issues, whether it's clothing, it's the resources, anything of that nature. Not the facility, but resources to help people that are having those issues as homeless, okay? All right, Commissioner Collins, you've been recognized for closing comments.
already took it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no closing comments.
All right, and Vice Mayor.
Chriselle, come down, you got my call.
Yes, I just want to thank everybody, the staff, for working together. Like our commissioner spoke to us last week. Once we, have everything down on paper, let's submit this to her and the county staff, Mr. Chase there. And that way they know where we're going at. And if we could possibly get help from them when they go up there, and when, we're ready to be boots on the ground in Tallahassee. So if we got to go up there, whenever you need us, you need to let us know, hey, this is important. We need to be up there. We need to make some walks. We need to, talk to our senators, not just our own senator, but the other senators, senior leadership. Speak to our legislative team, Mr. Pittman, Ms. Connie, and Sebastian, and tell them, hey, we're ready to work, because it takes team effort. At the end of the day, we know the governor has the right to, endorse it or not, but still, it's not going to be on us. We can always say to our citizens, we did our job.
That's right.
Unfortunately, the buck stops there with him. So, it's not on us. So we're continuing. We want to do the work, and I'm here to do the work. I know all my commissioners are here to do the work, so we're here to support you in any way you need us.
Thank you. So this is like the blueprint that we all study, and once you add that resource and on that, we can all, when we go and advocating for our needs, everybody pretty much know we can talk, even if we don't even have the sheet in front of us. Okay, I'm good with this. Mr. Manager, any closing comments you have?
No, sir.
All right, so we'll go ahead and, any comments from the audience? I'm sorry.
No, sir.
Okay, all right, we'll go ahead and, close this meeting. Thank you so much. So our next meeting is about 15 minutes, which is our special meeting, right?
Yes, sir.
Here. So anyone who will be testifying tonight, if you can raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth? I do. Thank you.
Okay, so what we're gonna do, just so everybody is aware how this is gonna work, we're gonna have our first meeting, we have two topics on that meeting. We'll then adjourn that meeting and we'll go then to our next meeting, which there's one topic on that. So our first topic is going to be for the assigning of the future land use map and, to set up the designation for such. So, on August 21st, 2023, the City Commission adopted an ordinance approving the voluntary annexation of 23.8 acres of land located immediately north and east of 1901 Northwest 16th Street that are known as State Road 715. This address for this new site is 2021 Northwest 16th Street. We now need to take the steps in process are to assign the future land map and zoning designations to the property. Both are required, both require the adoption of an ordinance by the city commission. But before they can do that, we have to make a recommendation to them as to how we, what we're going to do with it or how we feel about it, or what our thoughts are for it. So at this time, we're going to open up our staff presentation by Mr. Willie Halsted.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Willie Halstead, Building Inspector, City of Belle Glade, and I'm representing the city on behalf of our director, Mr. Steve Kramer, who is not able to be here this afternoon. What you have in front of you today is a local plan agenda, and what it consists of is assigning a property that's already been annexed from the city, a designation. And what they're trying to do, because of they only want to use 5.9 acres of the parcel for commercial use, which where they will be building a brand new building, and it would help enhance the city of Belleville, along with our tax base. And the rear portion, which is the most eastern portion, if you look at your map, you have a little green dot, and that very most western portion looks like a little shortcut
And I'm sorry, to clarify, was that a motion to approve the request? Okay, thank you.